Nate Slessor, how are you, sir?
Very good. How are you?
I'm very good. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience, my good man?
Yeah, for sure. For those who haven't figured it out by now, my name's Nate, and I've been in the industry as a sales agent for started in the Ipswich markets, and at the moment we specialize in selling acreage properties around Greenbank and Newbeath. So we deal a lot with upsizers, downsizers, the occasional investor, but mostly people of that nature that are looking at moving from there big acreage properties into something a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, nice. The reason why I jumped on this call today is because you've actually seen quite a bit of success over the space of 3 months and agent growth. Do you want to just talk a little bit about like the results and everything on that point?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess in terms of the listing side of things, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the running count at the moment three, three properties that we've listed through the where those opportunities were created through the agent growth system. That's not including anything that we've kind of gotten off the back of it as well. So I think we probably would have actually listed closer to six properties, if we included all the opportunities that came from those listings.
Yeah, nice. That's actually pretty good numbers. Yeah, so that's why we thought we'd get you to jump on to obviously share your experience. He's actually doing quite well utilizing the system, and obviously the way that you do well inside your own business and your own processes obviously has gelled well with agent growth. So I've actually got a few questions to ask you from it'd be questions that the audience would ask you to people that are watching this video. Someone that's on the fence, unsure of actually, or have just never heard of like lead generation marketing and stuff like that. So the first question is, what did your business look like before joining Agent Growth?
Before agent growth, it was a lot of, I would say, active prospecting. We're still extremely active, but that was the main activity that would bring us business. So cold calls, letterbox drops, handwritten notes, door knocking,
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, nice, nice. How quickly did you see start seeing leads come in, and were they like actually like qualified?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we started instantly seeing leads come through. Actually, you know what? In version one of Agent Growth, I think it was actually probably a lot slower than what it is, today. I don't know what version we're up to, but today it's phenomenal. It's a totally different system altogether, I think, from, the beta version or version one to what it is now. I
Hmm.
think these guys have consistently heard the feedback, things that we've struggled with or would like implemented into this the software, the system, whatever it is. And you've actually listened and heard to that advice, but more so actioned and created solutions to some of those problems. So I would say just in the last probably month alone, we've received, I think it's more, but I think twenty leads.
Hmm.
I'd have to double check again, but I think it's closer to 30 after the weekend just gone.
Yeah, nice. No, that's good. That's very good. How much effort did you personally have to put in into day to day? That makes sense.
Look like the running of it all.
Yeah, yeah.
None. My job, if not, if I couldn't get to the task, my team's job is simply just to get back to that inquiry as quick as possible. We kind of treat it the same way as if a seller lead were to come through REA or local agent finder or open agent or rate my agent or whatever site or system it comes through. The common denominator between, or I guess I should say the wow factor that you can really give to that prospect is speed. So they make that inquiry and bang, you're on the phone straight away. And I could say that probably in the last week, the two call-ins that we have had from I think it was REA or something like that. As soon as we're on the phone, they were bringing that kind of stuff up in the meeting because I just say, hey, look, we're that quick with you. Imagine what we're like with the buyers.
Mm, I like that. That's
I'll
good.
take credit for that
That's
one. I don't
good.
know where I learned it, but it's a good one.
That's good. Did you change anything about your listing presentation or conversation strategy? Or was it just about getting more appointments, if that makes sense?
Um, it's a very good question. Uh, in terms of the way that we like benefits that we're talking about when we're in front of a potential vendor, is that what you mean?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know if everybody knows about this, but I've known about it for a while because I've started on age growth system pretty much from day dot. Um, but there are ways to also promote properties through the same system pretty much.
Yeah.
So properties that you're selling, you can get buyer inquiry leads from that as well. And the way that we kind of pitch that to our potential vendors. What we're doing, and let's be real, like I could talk about SEOs, geo targeting, or interest targeting, all this kind of stuff. They're not going to have the slightest clue what that is. Like chances are, unless they work in marketing, they're not going to have any idea what that is. But essentially, what we're doing is displaying our knowledge around marketing. So we're just establishing ourselves as the authority around that particular subject, which then flows into obviously how we win the listing as well. Because what are they really hiring us based on other than our skills on marketing and negotiating?
100%. Very good points there as well. Very nice. What would you say to an agent who's worried about it won't work in their market?
If they're worried that it won't work.
Yeah, and like in a market example, it could be like example, you're in Greenbank and Greenbank New Beef where it's like acreage properties, maybe someone in like Gold Coast or something like that, they have a fear that it might not work in a market. What would you say to them?
My honest saying would be, well, you don't know it unless you try it. So just give it a try. And if it doesn't work, you can always pivot or adjust from there. But if they come up with that like sort of objection, like I don't think it's valid. If you know, if you were to say, if I was to say that it wouldn't work in Greenbank as an area because the demographic is much older, I was very wrong, very very wrong. Because despite whatever age category the person sits in, they're still getting our material. So, and that, 3 years of cold calling our patch, our 2,000 homes, constantly building out our database. And after every cold call, I would send them a text message right afterwards with a link to like our website or our Rate My Agent profile. And I
Mm,
think what happened once we really amped up on the agent growth system was these people started to get retargeted. So I noticed that they were either following my Facebook page or Instagram page, or they were liking or engaging or commenting or engaging some way with our posts as
mm,
well. So that was very interesting for me. And whenever I'm talking to another agent in the office that's looking at getting on the system, I say, hey, look, if you've been calling, 1,000 people over the last 2 years and you've been sending out text messages and all types of material, I don't know if I'm right or if it has something to do with the cookies. I have the slightest clue, but they start to see your stuff. And at the end of the
mm.
day, even if the lead doesn't come through today or tomorrow, eventually you're going to stay front of mind, and eventually, hopefully, you're the one that they pick, provided that you're doing all of the other stuff right as well. This is not like I don't think I could run a business solely on this system, but what it does do is it gives us an extra avenue to create more opportunity for us, for ourselves.
Exactly. And touching on that point, actually, I just had an experience where I was eating my lunch just before, and I saw this ad for like they do like meat boxes where you order like it's like 200 bucks and you get 200 bucks, you get like a box of like meat to last you a week. I clicked on that ad to see what's all about, and I remember closing the Instagram app and jumping on it 2 minutes later, and the first thing I saw was the ad, a different ad from the same company. So you're exactly right. People that click on the ad, the Facebook algorithm's obviously going to see that it's brought attention to the platform. So what they do is actually feed that ad into like a similar like demographic or an audience. So you're 100% right about like the methods you do use.
And let's be real, like this is not going anywhere. Like, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. I think, if anything, the systems that are available out there on the marketplace, including agent growth, will only continue to get better. So I think if you're not on it, you really are missing a portion of your market.
100%, 100%. I would agree. To be honest, I've not met anyone that's joined Agent Growth and their like strategies have got worse, if that makes sense.
No, I think the only time it would ever you would ever go backwards is if you're looking to give up some of those other activities that are really dollar productive, like the cold calls, like the handwritten notes, like the letterbox drops, like the door
Mm.
knocks, all that kind of stuff. You don't do it, in isolation, but you're doing it in unison together.
100%, 100%. I'll move on to the next question. So, how has this changed your confidence or control in your business? So, example, like you don't have enough time to go prospect, and then at the end of the day, all these meetings, you're like, oh, to be honest, I didn't get prospect. I feel like shit, or something like that, if that makes sense. So, like, what kind of like, how does that like change the confidence and like control in your business, having like that avenue there?
Yeah, I think it's cool in the sense that it's not actively like I'm not having to actively do the task. You know what I mean? Like when the lead comes through, absolutely we action it, but it's almost like it's working for you while you sleep, I guess you could say. And obviously as us agents, like I do think, and I'm sure if anybody else is watching this, like tell me if I'm wrong or not, but we constantly feel like we're not doing enough. You know what I mean? Like we're constantly feeling like we're not doing enough to move our business forwards. I think what this system gives me is confidence to say that, okay, we had a flat out day, meetings every minute. We didn't get the chance to sit down and cold call. We will book that out for when we have time. But the good thing is that we have some sort of system running that's reaching out to these people. And if we're going out in meetings and stuff like that, I'd actually, funny story. I remember I was at an appraisal and I was fully pitching this like whole lead gen sort of at that time it was actually talking about how we can create a social media campaign for that particular property. And it was so funny when I walked outside and then came back inside, she had her phone sitting there on the table and she said, "Hey, you would never believe it, but I picked up my phone and guess what I saw?" And it was one of our ads. And
Mm.
that was so, so funny.
How good. That's good, eh?
But
Always stay
it,
in the like front of the vendors. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, like a proper I don't know, case study or example right there.
Mm.
But it was funny how even when I wasn't kind of actively doing anything, we were kind of it just gives me that confidence that if we're not actively in their ear or something like that, like we're on some sort of screen of theirs.
Mm. For sure. For sure. Moving on to the next question is actually kind of related to that. You kind of did answer that question, but also we'll jump more into it. Were there any like unexpected results or benefits that came from using the system? So you mentioned like it's basically like brand awareness and like all that jazz. Like obviously we're like big on lead generation, but like was there like a massive like pipeline growth, like better conversations, like all that jazz? Anything that's like
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and I really do believe this, I feel like the lead coming through is just a bonus. I really do think that. I think that the biggest way that this works for my business personally is that I'm just staying front of mind for a lot of these guys. So even if the lead or the opportunity doesn't directly come from, through the social media ads or through the agent growth system,
hmm,
I am getting call-ins to say, hey, we see your stuff everywhere. You know what I mean? So it's just increasing the odds of you capturing the business or capturing the mind share before your competitors do. So I think the way that it played a big, big role was those 2, 3 years that I spent cold calling, sending out those text messages, writing handwritten notes, sending out DLs, all that kind of stuff. If they engaged in some sort of way with any of those materials or those platforms, I found that Asian growth was like just another add-on to kind of put their screen time of us on steroids.
yeah, nice. That's good. That's good. Yeah, because it's like obviously as I touched on before, is like our main thing is lead generation, right? But like the obviously like the side effects that do come from it is like your brand awareness and like example, stay in front of face of people. And as you mentioned just before, like the mind share of things, like basically becoming their agent before they even need one. So like you have your stuff like open agent and local agent finder, which do work if you get the listing. But majority of most of the cases, you build a relationship with this client and they don't even look for a second opinion, which is
Uh,
like the big thing, right?
That's probably big number two is that look, we'll get the occasional hot lead. Hey, I really need to sell next week or next month or something like that. But really, what I'm looking for and what I'm telling the team to look for are those opportunities that are 12 months, 6, 12 months down the track, 2 years down the track. Because what that's allowing us to do is we've got we now have 6 or 12 months to show this person why they don't need to shop anywhere else for their agent. And
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, we'll go in there. They'll probably sell for the price that we've quoted them for. They have no objections around paying the marketing fee, and they have no objections as to why we're worth 3+%.
Nice, which is good. Exactly right. Exactly right. Another question. So, did you ever have doubts before signing up? And what made you say yes?
I think I didn't have any doubts. I was more in a like when it comes to my business and how to improve it. I'm
Hmm.
always open to trying new things. It made sense. I seen it everywhere. I seen the product in a different version, one way or another, through another kind of person or avenue. But what really helped was having this in-house, and I know how much you guys are surrounded by real estate agents, so it's very hard to
Hmm.
escape the feedback, whether it is good or bad.
For
Um,
sure.
so I felt like that would have been a big benefit too, which it has proven to be. But I could honestly spend any amount of money on my business and not really get that kind of guilt trip. You know what I mean? Like, when you go out and you have a big night with the boys and you look at your bank account the
Hmm.
next day and you're like, I shouldn't have done that. It's not like that when it comes to spending money on the business. I feel like it's always
Hmm.
money well spent.
Yeah, 100%. That's a very good perspective to have, to be honest. That's good. Last question. Before if you have any other questions for me, but what would you say to an agent that's like watching this and is like sitting on the fence?
Try it. Try it. Yeah, try it. If you don't like it or you think it's not working for you and you can't figure out any other way to improve it or make it better or adjust it to how it should be suited, don't use it then.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. And
So
like,
I
like
don't know if
one,
that's a sales pitch that you're looking for, but it's the
yeah,
truth. Like I honestly believe in this product so much that if it's not working for you, I'd be very surprised. And if it's not working for you, I don't know if it's a system. Like it might be something to do with that particular uh, process that business has. How are
hmm,
you capturing leads? How are you servicing those leads and managing those leads in your pipeline to then turn them into listings later down the track? Like perfect example was one of the listings that we had at 5 Yabby Close in Newbeef.
hmm,
That came through the agent growth system. I put one of the team members on it. She called them, had a chat with them, got to an idea of their situation. The motivation was that they wanted to move back to the coast, but they weren't urgently needing to sell or anything like that. They'd literally just moved into the property last May. So they've been there not even 12 months. But they were doing the drive, they were dropping the kids off at the Gold Coast every single day to school. So it was kind of wearing on them. I think it took maybe a month or two of like just staying in touch every other week. Hey, just sold this one. Hey, just wanted to let you know this is happening.
hmm,
Just those valid reasons to reach out and contact them. And then it got to a point where the owner said, "Hey, what do you think we'd be able to get for it?" Ended up going out there and doing the appraisal. One thing led to another. They ended up listing it with us off market. We took a few buyers through, got some feedback, passed it on to the owners, planted the seed of, hey, look, I think maybe going to the market might be a really good idea for you guys. They stewed on it and then they turned around and said, hey, let's do it. Let's pull the trigger. Let's put it on the market. We did exactly that. I think it was the eighth day of the campaign. We had sold the property, and this is a $1.34 million sale at 3%. So,
Mm.
what a good opportunity. We also listed another one at Jollytail Ave off of the back of that one, and that was just from having that brand awareness in the area again. I used the valid reason of, hey, we just listed this one to contact the rest of the pipelines that we had nearby. Got chatting to another one, and one thing led to another. We listed that property too. So, there was really probably $2.7 million worth of sale value in there, both at 3%.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome. Actually, a little bit of context for yourself as well and for the viewers. There'll be a lot of like agents that are at different like parts of their journey. For example, they could be freshly new or at 100K GCI or 200 or like 500K plus, whatever they are in their journey. Do you want to give a little context about where you are like yourself as an agent and like over, let's say, like space of 2 years?
In terms of how the business has grown over the last 2 years.
Yeah, like example, like who you are, example, like the GCI you're making, like per like financial year, or like from what it started to like what it is now.
Yeah, I guess from where it started. So me personally, I've probably doubled my GCI every year that I've been doing this.
Mm.
And the way I kind of got introduced to the industry, I don't even know if I was actually doing real estate before STRUD Property, man. Let's be honest. Like it was more like cowboy real estate. Here's a phone, here's a desk, go sell real estate. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
But let's just say since I came here at STRUD, in the last, let's say rolling 12 months, we've probably written close to 600 in GCI. I think of February, mid-February was we just hit 500,000 in GCI. So um, I'd say we've probably made it at least another 150 on top of that, 150. I'll have
Yeah.
to double check the numbers. I'm so sorry as well for everybody else out there. I should definitely know this stuff.
Too busy.
Too lazy, mate. No excuses.
Nah, no, but that's good. That's good numbers. It's a just a matter of perspective as well for like
And
different
just just
agents.
just just to add on to that as well, we're aiming for a mil in GCI. Me personally, that's not including the team members that I have on as well. They'll have their own KPIs and targets too.
Hmm.
But we're aiming for a million in GCI. And so far, just measuring the last quarter, we're on track.
Yeah, awesome. That's very good to hear. Shout out Nate Celeste team at STRUD Property. But no, thank you for your time, my good man. It's always a pleasure talking to you and beloved client of ours, which is good. So it's good to see results. But yeah, so down below, if you ever are curious to see what the system is like, or if you do want to book in a call to see, example, what it can do for your business, you're more than welcome. Obviously, as well, Nate's actually reached out to me and said that if needed, and you want like a different perspective on the system, you can call him directly as well. But
Well, I don't have anything to gain from it. You know what I mean?
mm,
So like I know it's not much of a sales pitch, but like if it's not working for you, don't use it. You know what I mean? But I honestly do feel like everybody should have this system. You'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right?
mm,
And the whole idea of why we do what we do is to have a farm area that we target, or at least this is our strategy, have a core area, and then the whole goal is just to saturate that area as much as possible. So if you're doing every other thing but this, why not just try it and figure out a way to incorporate this into your business as well,
mm,
and just measure it and track it. Like anything,
understood.
not working, cut it loose. If it is working, awesome, double down on it.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Mr. Nate, and I shall chat to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Bryson.